Last time we ranked realistic female action, and the comments turned into a war. So today, 10 more. Some of these women trained for months. One of them, the studio admits, didn't. By the end, you'll know exactly which fights are real skill and which ones are just good editing. Number 10 is where it falls apart fastest. Quick thing, every one of these rankings is community tested. If you want to argue with me on the next one, subscribe so you don't miss it. Now, the list. Number 10, Proud Mary, our lowest score today. Taraji P. Henson plays a Boston hitwoman. Great premise, but critics were blunt. The climactic gun battle was called lifelessly choreographed, with her stunt double doing most of the visible work rather than Henson herself. The Tina Turner needle drop is iconic. The fighting underneath it isn't. Number 9, Ava.
Management will be watching on this one.
You did something bad. I wouldn't have sent me if you hadn't.
Jessica Chastain trained with real stunt coordinators for this Black Ops assassin role, but fight analysts flagged a specific problem: a visible tempo mismatch between Chastain and her stunt double in the hand-to-hand scenes. When the double steps in, the speed changes, and you can spot the cut. That gap is exactly what breaks realism. Number 8, trigger warning.
I'm sorry about your dad, but I'm glad you're home, kid.
Jessica Alba trained in real Indonesian knife fighting for this one. A specific legitimate discipline, good instinct. But critics felt the choreography never used it. One review said the fights don't feel the least bit tactile, with sound design doing more work than the actual staging. Good training, undercooked execution. Number 7, The Mother.
FBI time trying to cut a deal for yourself, and 7 agents were killed.
And this is a genuinely close call. Jennifer Lopez has said flatly there was no stunt double for the entire final fight against Joe Fiennes. She did it start to finish herself, after weeks of knife fighting and hand-to-hand training. That's commitment. But one detail keeps this from ranking higher. A viewer review pointed out something simple and damning. The bruises on screen don't match the violence we're told just happened. Full commitment to the choreography, but the film didn't commit to the consequences. Number 6, Anna. Luc Besson's KGB assassin disguised as a model thriller. The restaurant scene, where Anna takes out a room while pretending to be a waitress, is tightly choreographed and reads as plausible specifically because it's economical. She doesn't overextend or do anything physically impossible. Stylish first, realistic second, but it earns the spot. Number 5, Kate.
Jesus, Kate, what happened to you?
Mary Elizabeth Winstead trained with Jonathan Eusebio, the same fight coordinator behind all 3 John Wick films, building muscle memory so thoroughly that, in her words, she learned the choreography without realizing she was learning it. Critics were honest that she's not a real-life martial artist, but they also said her physicality and weighted hits make her completely believable on screen anyway. That's the realism that actually matters, not credentials, conviction. Number 4, Salt.
What's your name?
My name is Vasily Orlov.
The most physically committed performance on this list, even though the movie keeps asking her to do impossible things. Angelina Jolie trained 2 hours a day, 4 times a week in Krav Maga and Muay Thai specifically for this role, and her stunt coordinator built the fighting style around her actual body. Speed and leverage over brute force. The problem isn't her, it's the script. Jumping between 6 moving freeway trucks isn't realistic no matter how good your Krav Maga is. Number 3, The Protege.
Most people are good. Some people are bad. But you.
Maggie Q was discovered and trained by Jackie Chan himself, enrolled in his stunt school as a teenager decades before this movie existed. Reviewers specifically called the hand-to-hand combat realistic, and Maggie Q has talked about treating every fight as physical storytelling, not just impact. 20 years of real training before the camera rolls shows. Number 2, Ballerina.
You must become the assassin. You will always be weaker. You will always be smaller.
Ana de Armas trained for over 2 months, 5 hours a day at 8711. The same facility behind every John Wick fight. Real judo, real wrestling, real gun handling systems. The choreography gets increasingly stylized, grenades, flamethrowers, but the realism lives in the character logic. Her stunt coordinator built her fighting style around using the environment, because she's smaller than every opponent. That's the most honest idea on this whole list, even inside an unrealistic world. And number 1, Atomic Blonde.
Remember, trust no one.
By a distance. Charlize Theron performed 99% of her own stunts in the stairwell fight, doing up to 20 consecutive choreographed moves without a cut, something her own stunt coordinator said put her in the top 1% of actors who do their own action. She cracked teeth and bruised ribs filming this. There's no stunt double tempo mismatch here because there's barely a stunt double. If you want to know what realistic actually means in this genre, start here, then go back through the rest of this list and see how far everyone else is from this bar. So that's the list, and number 1 isn't close. Which one do you think deserves to be higher? Drop your reorder in the comments. I read everyone. Subscribe if you want in on the next argument. See you.